first live. I'm so excited. A little bit about me. I was a high school math teacher before I had kids. And then when I had my first daughter, I quit that and then took a few years. And then I started this last year. So that's been really fun. And like I was saying, I was in a group coaching call a few weeks ago and it was like, what do you like doing in your business? And I have a YouTube channel and I've used that to show bullet journaling stuff. And I decided that I really like teaching and I don't really do that in my business. So I've been wanting to incorporate that into my business. So this is just like an exciting moment for me because this is my first like teaching live, something that I want to teach. I loved teaching math, but I'm really excited to teach about bullet journaling because it's obviously something I'm very passionate about. So I'm just feeling very excited. And like my hope for anyone live on this call or anyone watching later this replay is that you can get something cool out of it like that, like something that you want to take away and do from this. And then the other full circle moment is when I was teaching as a math teacher and I had my daughter, I was like, I wish I could just like bring my baby to class with me. And look at me, I'm bringing her to class with me. And I think I'll be able to put her down because she really hasn't napped very much. So I'm sure she'll be down. But for now, babies, I mean, and for this phase, she's really easy to have with me for now. But that's kind of fun too, because, just the perks of having your own business. Okay, so let's get started. And I am going to try and put her down. And if she cries a little, I'll just grab her again. But I think she's asleep. I think she'll be out. So thank you for coming. Well, first of all, what is a bullet journal? That's what I want to talk about. And something that has really resonated with me and like a very easy way to describe a bullet journal is a planner that you want to keep. So it becomes like a planner and a journal. And technically, the word bullet journal comes from the creator of the bullet journal method. There's a book called The Bullet Journal Method, and his name is Ryder Carroll. And I follow him on Instagram, and I believe this year he just like said this was our 10 years of bullet journaling. So technically, like the term bullet journaling has been around for 10 years now. So that's like where it comes from. It comes from Ryder Carroll. And then it just kind of people really liked it. And a bullet journal can really be any journal or planner, I guess, but the way that Ryder Carroll does it and kind of, I guess, the like right way to do it, there's not a right way to do it, but like the legit way that he bullet journals is he has one of those blank dot grid journals. So it's not lined, it's not completely blank. There's just like tiny little dots that kind of help you have like write straight if you're writing straight or like make layouts and count the dots. So, that is usually the journal people use for a bullet journal, and then you're setting it up as you go. So you are just like custom slash tailoring it to yourself. You're making it yourself. But I don't think there's like a right way to do it. That's technically, I guess, how most people bullet journal, but you can use any planner, any journal really, and turn it into a bullet journal. And we'll get into like how to do it today. So I thought today, now that you kind of know what it is, I'm going to basically just go through some of mine because so I started bullet journaling in 2020 and it was like from scratch. I don't even think I knew who Ryder Carroll was. I looked on some YouTube videos and I was just doing my best to figure it out as I went. So I was creating it from scratch, kind of like the artistic way. That you'll see a lot of people do when they bullet journal. Um, but yeah, it was like through a lot of trial and error. So we're going to start by looking at basically some of my bullet journals because I think it helps to kind of get an idea of what a bullet journal is when you look at them and also like see my evolution, see how my style started, how it has changed, and how bullet journaling can just change with you throughout the years. So I have an overhead camera. I'm going to switch to that. Actually, before we do that, let me show you all my bullet journals. I'm not going to blur it back here so you can see them. Okay, so I have, I guess, technically 6 bullet journals. They're all a little bit different. So this was my first one right here. And technically the first year I actually did 2 bullet journals. I like completed one and then did another one halfway through the year. And then, yeah, we'll go through all of them together. This is the one that I am currently using. And I'll kind of just like talk you through a little bit more about what a bullet journal is, and then also how to bullet journal. So that's my goal for today, is you'll really see and understand what a bullet journal is and how to bullet journal. So we are going to switch to my overhead camera to start flipping through some of my bullet journals. So we're going to start with this one. I guess I'll show you it first. So like I said, I started in 2020. Technically started, I guess, in 2019. I just ordered some supplies online. I literally just ordered this off Amazon. I just didn't really have a suggestion from anyone, so I just kind of went with what I thought I would want. So this is my first bullet journal. And yeah, let's take a look at it. So I am going to switch to my overhead camera. Okay, so it's a little bit, it'll focus in a second. Let me raise it a little bit. Okay. There we go. Journals everywhere. That's my motto. That's my life. Okay, so this was my first bullet journal, and I would say that this one was like a lot of trial and error, and it's not the most beautiful, but I was just learning, and it's cute because it was my first one. So one thing I will say is that right off the bat, you can see that this cover is white. Something that I learned that I love is I do not love cream colored pages. Some people do, and that's totally fine. But I learned after like halfway through, I was like, wait, these pages aren't even white. I like a white page. So I learned that, like I said, you'll learn and your things will change as you go with bullet journaling. So I just started with what I thought was right. And so I'm just going to kind of flip through most of the pages that I did. If you want to like pause or like talk about anything, you can. But this was, yeah, just a big like trial and error. I Yeah, I have a lot of this is a spread that I really liked, and you'll see it in a couple of my other spreads. But basically, you can just fill it with whatever you want, and that's exactly what I was doing. I was just filling it with, we were going to travel that year, but then it was COVID, so we didn't really travel that much. And yeah, I started just kind of making layouts, really just like figuring out what worked for me. I know a lot of people are drawn to bullet journaling because of habit trackers. So, I started looking up some habit trackers. I tried my hand at my my camera is not focusing very well. I apologize. I actually, maybe you're impressed by this calligraphy, but I am really not that good at calligraphy. So I find other ways to like make my bullet journal cute. And I find that I often just use color. Something else that I learned in my first bullet journal was that I ordered this bullet journal, and then I ordered gel pens and a calligraphy pen. And pretty much, I don't even like any of those things. So don't write those things down. I do not recommend using gel pens. Well, unless you like them. I just am not a gel pen person. I thought I was. I didn't love gel pens. I did not love calligraphy. I'm not very good at calligraphy. I found other ways I do like sort of a faux calligraphy, but these are just some of the things that I did. So yeah, this was when my husband had surgery and I was keeping track of all his medication that he had to have post-surgery. So again, I wouldn't say this is super like, I'm going to kind of flip a little bit faster for this one because again, this is like literally just me experimenting, playing, having fun. This is when I got some markers that I really like, which are kind of my go-to. Oh, this is sad. We were supposed to go to Paris that year. I was planning our Paris trip. That didn't happen because of COVID. But yeah, I just had a lot of fun
I
playing
have a
around.
question,
Yes,
Krista.
tell me your question.
It looks like it's just chronological. So like whatever was coming up for that day is what you'd write down.
Mm. For this bullet journal,
Yeah.
honestly, yes. It was kind of like I don't think I fully understood like the structure of a bullet journal. So yeah, this is like, yeah, I kind of just went at it day by day, week by week, whenever I felt like putting down. So that's why a planner really does work. Some of my favorite pages though are like brain dump pages. I don't know if you've ever like used those or heard of those where you just whatever is on your mind. And that's honestly like why I bullet journal, I think, is because it's just a space for me to clear my mind. Like and planning obviously takes up my mind. I'm a planner person. So like instead of being like, oh, I have something on Saturday, I can like unload it off my mind and put it in my calendar for Saturday. Like, okay, I wrote it in my calendar. Now I don't have to like stress or think about it again. So yeah. Um, yeah, it just kind of whatever came up is what I would do, especially in this bullet journal. Like I said, this was my first one, so we were just playing around, experimenting, but it's still ooh, like it's cute, right? Like I mean, I look at it and think, "Oh, I do it very differently now," but like it was just a really fun like time to, I guess, just like play, explore. This is when I started getting into like themes. In fact, if you look all the way back at my Instagram, I actually started posting some of these spreads on my Instagram because at first I mean, it's still a bullet journal account, my Instagram, but it was like strictly just like bullet journal pages in my Instagram before I kind of made it into a business Instagram too. So I think we're pretty much done. Do you want me to just keep flipping through this one, Becky?
Krista, were you always a doodler?
Honestly, I would say I'm more of like a lettering person than doodling person. I guess I have a sister who's super artistic and she's a very good doodler. So in my head, I'm like not the greatest doodler. I'm like, oh, well, I'm not like her because she's literally an art teacher. But yeah, I always kind of like in church would just like it was a lot of like lettering and I don't think I did that much doodling, but I do enjoy it.
Well,
So.
that's what I am drawn to is the lettering and the fonts, the different ways of writing.
Ooh, okay. Well, you can look at I'll go through some of that today. And I also have an idea for a complete other class on that too. But we will look at some of that today too. So I'll go through like some of the lettering styles that I like, especially in the next one. Because I feel like this bullet journal was just like I was just playing around. But it's still like you said, it's chronological. You can see like themes. You can see that I just kind of did it day by day, whatever I was feeling. I start to get a little bit more structure as, you know, I start learning more about bullet journaling, but there's really no right or wrong way to do it. This is just kind of how I did it. And that is the end of this first bullet journal. So let me show you my next bullet journal. So that was 2021 or 2020. That was just, let's just play, have fun, and yeah, do this. So then I told you I didn't love the cream paper. So I found this bullet journal from a bullet journaling company called Archer and Olive, which if you like this style, but it's completely blank inside. So it's, I'll show you the back of it. This is just like white blank dot grid pages. And this one has a little bit more of like thicker paper, which is good if you are doing like a lot of drawing and art in it. So let's look at this one because this one I would say has a little bit more of a format to it that I'm proud of. It's not as like, oh, whatever I feel like doing, or not that I'm like proud of it, but like a little bit more of like a structure. So I'm gonna go back to my camera. Okay, and if you're a Harry Potter person, I am a Slytherin. So I love green and snakes, and that's kind of the theme. And actually, this bullet journal theme, I kind of decided to make it like a Slytherin slash Harry Potter theme. Okay, so if you notice, yeah, on this one, because there's so much drawing going on, I always love to like count how many dots there are in the bullet journal, which is just helpful for setting up spreads if you're going to set them up yourself. And then I would kind of mark off like, okay, if I ever wanted to go halfway through, I knew to count this many. And then this key, I usually put at the front of my bullet journal, which I'm going to talk about in the next bullet journal I go through. Because this one I would say, so this was again still 2020, so I had a lot of time. And so this was just like fun and I would say super like, I don't know, artistic, crafty. I think all of it is an art. But yeah, I was really into like the lettering. This is one of my favorite lettering styles where you just like kind of bolden any of the lines you go down. And then I wrote out like all of my bullet journal essential supplies that I like to use. In fact, this is also when I started my YouTube channel. So there is, I think, a YouTube video on my channel from way back when where I'm showing how I set this spread up. So The structure of a bullet journal is usually where you start with your year at a glance. Since this was halfway through the year, I only started with these months, right? I guess I ended in July, the other one, so a little bit more than halfway through. But at the beginning of the bullet journal, I like to have like my year at a glance. So this was just August through December. And that's where I can put any like birthdays or events coming up. And if there's any space left over, you can always go back and like write in what you did do that month or any memorable things from the month. So year at a glance, and then at the beginning of the year is when I usually like to have like either a goals page or another spread that I really like you saw on the other one, is a reading log or a reading tracker because I don't necessarily have like monthly reading goals. It's more just like in a year, I want to be like reading. And so I'll put that spread at the beginning of the year because it kind of encompasses the whole year. So goals, reading log, and that was
Ask
pretty much
you
it.
about the reading log.
You want to go back to it?
Yeah, do you start at the bottom and add a book when you complete it and then build it up, or did you draw that out and say
That's
these
a
are
great
the
question. I drew this out completely before.
so you kind of set how many books you wanted to read.
I did, yeah. I usually have a goal at the beginning of the year. My most solid goal that I've ever accomplished is 25. You'll see, I think in the next bullet journal, I had a goal of 50, and then I got pregnant and like super lazy, and so I didn't read that many. But yeah, I usually like will set up kind of how many I want to at the beginning of
And
the
then on the left, what are those? Are those other books?
Oh, so this one was blank, right? Because I was like, if anyone ever gave me a recommendation that says books to read, so it
Okay,
was like, oh, I would like to read this book. And then I think if I ended up reading it, I colored it in.
that's so cute.
Yeah, so that one's a fun one. I definitely love, in fact, this last year, I ended up making a full-on like reading journal for myself. I haven't really kept up very good with it, but I was just like, I'm gonna like really go into reading this year, which I have done a lot of reading. But yeah, I really love reading. So I definitely love having this in my bullet journal. I'm trying to decide for next year if I want to have a full-on reading journal or if I want to have this and maybe just like throughout the year I'll start like I'll review a couple books if they really impact me. But that's what my reading journal has. It has like spots to review your journal or review the books that you've read. But this I've never reviewed any books in my bullet journal. I've just tracked how many books I've read or what books that I've read.
And then you rated them
And then I rated them.
5 star. Okay.
Yeah, so that's just like what I like about or yeah, my rating for each one. So yeah, that one usually goes at the beginning of the year. But I know some people like custom bullet journals I've made with people where they want a reading log each month. So yeah, it just depends on the person. I'm like a yearly person with books. I don't necessarily have super intense monthly reading goals, but you know, generally it works out to about 2 to 3 a month. So that's what I go for. So yeah, I fill that in as I go. And then this is when we start a monthly. So most of my months, I'll have like a, sorry, this keeps, because of my hand, it keeps going in now, like a brain dump page, which a lot of people will use as like a to-do or like any ideas that you have. Um, and then I have my month at a glance or my monthly, yeah, monthly layout. So this is when in the book, the bullet journal method, he talks about months being like chapters in your bullet journal. So like this is like the start of my August chapter where I have like my month and I have my habits that I'm doing. And then I had different weekly spreads basically after that. So like once I get into my weeks, I don't usually like put different spreads in between each week. I just kind of stick, oh, well, I guess here I did an expense tracker. So I did put something in between. But usually oh, and then here I did my school page. I'm like, wow. So yeah, this one, I didn't have any kids. It was COVID. I had a lot of time. Like oh, and I had a Cricut. I got a Cricut for Christmas that year. So I was able to like, these are cut out shapes and like paper for just decorating purposes. I just really was excited to like make this one really, really pretty and cute and fun. So this is just another brain dump page for who knows what. And then we go back into a weekly. So it looks like I did in there break up my weeklies a little bit, but usually I like to keep my weeklies all together and any sort of brain dump pages go either at the end of the month or beginning of the month. And then looks like I just recapped when we went to Harry Potter World that year. So that was really fun because that was a Harry Potter theme. And so then this is when I started getting really into like a theme each month. So like this theme was I speak French, French themed. So I have my monthly layout. I had this is a cleaning tracker. Oh, no, no. This is just a habit tracker and a routine tracker for morning, afternoon, night. This one, though, is a brain dump page. I feel like there's a cleaning tracker in here that I loved. Yeah, this is a cleaning tracker. So that one was kind of fun. Like every day I wanted to do these 3 things. And then every week I wanted to make sure I did certain tasks in each of the rooms in my house. So that was a fun one. And then for this one, I think is when I started to get the hang of like, okay, the weeklies stay together. Anything extra is kind of either at the beginning or end of the month. And these are just different like weekly layouts. So again, I'm just setting them up each week. And then we went into the next month, October. So as you can see, I kind of love, this is called craft paper. That was something I loved doing. I loved using craft paper. I loved a white gel pen on either black or this craft paper. So that's what I used here was a white gel pen. And then yeah, some doodles, I guess. This one was fun. I think there's YouTube videos for this one on my channel as well. Okay, something else about this journal is that the paper is pretty thick. It's like artist paper. I don't really need that because most of what I use isn't like watercolor or anything super intense. I like to just use like markers that won't bleed through. But it is imperative to me that my journal lays flat. So I love that this is a flat lay journal. Even though it's not spiral bound, it still lays flat. So coming up on November, this was a gift tracker because, we're getting close to the holiday season. So that's a good idea. And then, oh, this is a fun one. It's kind of like, this is called a Dutch store where you can I just cut this page so that it like had more space for my dailies. And then the last theme is just like a Christmas theme. And again, I was using my Cricut for these. That was really fun. So yeah, do you have any questions or any like spreads you want to see again from this journal? Just because I know I flipped through a ton. Is there anything that you're like, oh, I want to go back and look at that one? Oh, I like to do reflection pages too. So at the end of the year, I'll usually like reflect. I usually have like a couple of journaling questions I'll go over and just kind of wrap up the year in that way. So do you want to look at any of these spreads again, anybody? Are we good on
Yeah,
this?
yeah, we're good.
Okay.
I just like seeing it. I'm just taking it all in.
Yeah, I know. So here, I'll go back to myself. I don't want it to be overwhelming, but I do feel like it's fun to see it completed because especially if you're starting from scratch. I mean, you have been doing this for a while, so I mean, you know what you're doing. But if I had just started from scratch, which is what I did do, and I didn't really have anyone like this to show me what to do, it's kind of a lot. So
Yeah.
here's my next one. And this one is yeah, is when I started getting into pink. And I want to, let me show you. This is what I want to talk about a little bit more, the key here. So at the beginning of my bullet journals, I like to, oh, this one I had a little vision board. That was fun. Oh, there you go. I do like to incorporate a vision board in my bullet journal at the beginning of the year. But yeah, here's where I have a little bit of a more descriptive key. And so this to me gets into like the how to bullet journal. So I feel like the format has like kind of the 3 sections, the year at a glance or any like yearly ones you want to like put at the beginning. So this one's kind of fun because I had the reflection and goals again. I have my year at a glance. And then this is what I was telling you. I put 50 books for this one and didn't quite make it. And then I also put like a movies and shows one because I guess there were some fun shows and movies we were watching. I had like a scripture study plan I put at the beginning of the year. So anything that like you can think of that you would want to refer to all year is good to put kind of at the beginning. This is a period tracker, which obviously there's not very much data because I got pregnant. So there's not really any evidence of a period because it didn't happen. And then is when like your monthlies and chapters kind of start. So here is, yeah, again, I have like a brain dump page usually at the beginning of a month just to like flesh out any goals. And then oh, this was a schedule of Spencer's. I don't remember what he had, school, I think. And then my weeklies start. So I want to go back to the beginning because this key is really like, so now that you know like what the structure of a bullet journal is, this is kind of like how to bullet journal. And pretty much this key is taken straight from writer Carol and the bullet journal method. I'm waiting for it to like calm down. Sorry, it's like not focusing. But yeah, so I have taken this from writer Carol, where you can't really tell, but next to that task slash goal is just like an actual bullet or a little dot. So anytime I'm like planning my day, if there's anything I need to do, I just like put a little dot next to it. And if I do it, I'll cross it off, right? I'll just put a little X or a check mark. If I don't end up doing it, there's a couple things that happen. So like, let's say on my day, I had to, I don't know, clean out my closet. Let's say I wanted to go through my closet. And if I didn't finish it, then at the end of the day, or if you don't do it every day, like at the end of the week, you can see, oh, I had it on there. I wanted to clean out my closet. This is when you kind of like take a second and reflect and decide, do I really need to clean out my closet right now? And if you don't, you can cross it off, meaning you didn't actually do it, right? Because if you're checking it, you did it. Cross it off means I didn't get to it. And crossing it off means I'm actually not even going to worry about that right now. Like take it out of my mind. Or if you're like, okay, I didn't do that this week, but I actually still really need to do it. This is a little arrow, it's just a little like carrot, right? Like this little triangle thing. Let's move it, and you know that you've moved it to the next week if you want to do it the next week, or you can move it to the following month. So you can put it in like one of your monthly tasks at the beginning of the next month. So you just know you've moved it forward. Or this one says planned and it's an arrow but going backwards. So this means like, okay, I didn't clean out my closet and I'm actually not going to have time to clean out my closet for a while. But I would like to do that. Maybe not this month, maybe like in 2 months. So you put this arrow, meaning it's still important to me, but I'm going to go back to my year at a glance. So this is when you could go to like your yearly thing and let's say it's October. I'm going to make sure I get to it in December. And so in December, you can say, I need to clean out my closet. So you just know that you've moved that task back or you've planned it for a different time than moving it forward. And then to differentiate from a task and an event, I like to do an open circle. So like, you know, if you have appointments, coaching calls, meetings, you put a little open circle. When I've attended or completed that event, I color it in. And then these two down here are really fun. So like this is where, to me, the like journaling side of bullet journaling comes in, where during the day, I like at the end of the day, if there's any space, I like to go back in and write any notes from the day. So like that can be events, like you could be like, oh, I took my kids to the park and it was super fun and I saw my friend there or something. I mean, it's usually a very condensed version of that. I'm not writing full sentences. Or I can mark something as important, like I had this thought for my business and you just write it down and like note it as something important. So again, that idea of like brain dump, like your bullet journal really is just like a brain dump, a reflection of like what's on your mind and like clearing your mind and really just like prioritizing what's important to you. So this key I feel like is super important and you'll see me put it in a couple of other, or I usually put it at the beginning of my bullet journal. So any
So,
questions about that?
yeah, so that's on a weekly or on your week, like you put those little marks next to whatever you had on your calendar.
Yeah, so like on my week, it's usually like my weekly layout. In fact, let me see if I can find a spread where I've done this. In fact, kind of right here I did it. Yeah, I'll show you one right here.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, my weekly layout is usually where like daily I'm going in and like putting what I need to do. And I apologize that like my camera is not focusing very good, but hopefully you can see it okay. But so right here on, I put my priorities and goals in the beginning. And so I have an event right here. My mom was going to visit, but I guess she didn't. I crossed it off. And then I had like two goals, priorities that week, and they were just some study goals. Like these are scriptures that I wanted to read that week. And then, oh, right here, it says toenails done. I wanted to get my toenails done. So those are my priorities for the week. And so again, here's like a day. Let's see if I have anything like this Sunday down here. I had to go to church and then I had thank yous from my shower. Looks like I didn't get to it, but I moved it to next week so that I was like, okay, I didn't get to it today. I'm going to move it to my next week. Yeah, list of stuff needed for my baby girl, bullet journal, organized cards, work prep. These things didn't happen. So I moved them to the next week. Fold laundry, moved it to the next week. But the things I did do, I crossed off. So yeah, this is usually what I do every day in my bullet journal, which translates to in my weekly spread. So these are the things that I'm putting in my weekly spread. But you can also use it anywhere. Like I looked at this one. This was before I had my first daughter. These were some of the things that I needed for my baby. These are some things that like me, the mom, what I needed. Looks like I like moved things over too. Like, okay, checked things off here. So you can use it really for like anything. This is a monthly spread. Yeah, I don't really use it as much in my monthly, I will say that. But if I ever have goals, I'll kind of use it again for goals. And then in the weekly spread and in my daily spreads, that's when I'm really like crossing off, marking off, moving things over. Did that help answer your question? Cool.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay. So yeah, this bullet journal actually isn't super, super complete. I get super tired with my pregnancies, especially at the beginning. But I did have a cute like pregnancy tracker. So that was, my phase of life. I had like a little tracker to talk about like when we found out, first, second, third trimester. I went through and like wrote out things I needed for my baby. So, just things, doctor's appointments, things. It's just fun because it's really like and you really can see on that day exactly like what I was doing. Like I can look back and be like, okay, this is what I was doing in this phase of life. And it's just like, that's why to me, it's like a journal because it's not just like the events it's not just like to-dos. It's like, I actually like I can look at this and be like, oh yeah, I remember that week. It's really crazy actually. So.
Well, I love how it combines everything.
Mhm.
Because like I had a baby book and then I had my own journal and then I'd have my planner that had all the tasks and like
Mhm.
it puts everything in one place.
Mhm. And then it's like cute and pretty too. I mean, you are already doing this. I think yours are really cute and fun. Okay, I'm trying to, let me see, what time is it? How am I doing? Of course, oh, it's already that late. Okay, let me see if there's anything. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to, oh, I'll show you a little bit in this one too, because this is oh, sorry. This is kind of where my style switched up a bit because this is when I became a mom. So it's the similar format where I have my key at the beginning. And then this one was kind of fun. I know you do your steps every day, but like I did a walking tracker this year and I would track if I did less than a mile or 2 or 3 miles, like I would just color it in there. So that was fun. I had some goals. This was my year at a glance. It ended up kind of being a gratitude where I would just every day write a gratitude for each day of the year. So that was fun. And then I did the books and the movie tracker. I learned my lesson to not do 50 books this year. And then, okay, so this is when I would say I started to find what works for me as a mom. So obviously, as a mom, I have a little less time than when, you saw the one where I had like the Harry Potter and I was drawing things. I started to find that I loved using markers. I know you have, I think, specific pens you like to use, right, Becky? But yeah, I like to use markers. I like to kind of just keep it simple. Oh, this was keeping track of all the times I would feed her because she was pretty young. And so this spread was really great for me. I can look back and see I haven't been keeping track of Sophia's, and this is my third daughter's feedings, and I just don't need to right now. But I was like, I guess, in a state of mind where I really needed to keep track of how much I fed her, because I remember I took this journal with me like on vacation or wherever I was going, because I was just like, I have to track her feedings. This one was really cute. So I would do a highlighted day, and these are all like concerning my daughter. I think she was a little bit young, so I feel like I was kind of like running out of things to say every day. But a highlighted day for my daughter, because I just really wanted to like kind of like you said, make it a baby book. And so again, I journaled a few things about her, 3 months of baby Celine, and I like had a few reflection questions. And then again, you see, I'm like keeping track of her feedings. This is just what worked for me. But I was trying to show you this because I figured out in the next month. So this is the year I started figuring out I really like the monthly reflections, which I know you like too, Becky. I really like having a monthly reflection. I didn't do it every month, but I would do it and I really liked it. And then this month I found, well, I did a mood tracker that month because I was like, my hormones are crazy, because they always are once you have a baby. I found this weekly spread, which is like my favorite, I've decided, at least with having little babies, where I could keep track of the feedings and I could just journal about her each week. So I didn't have to like I like journaling each week in my bullet journal. And since my kids are so little, I usually just journal about them each week. And then at the end of the month is kind of when I do a journaling session, more like personal for myself. So this is a spread that you'll see me use a lot. Like once I figured out this one, I was like, ooh, I really like this. So again, my tasks, my to-dos, they're all right here. And then at the end of the week, I'm journaling and reflecting about my daughter each week. So,
So
yeah.
what do you do now that you have 3 kids?
Let me show you. So then the next year, I had 2 kids, and so I just split it up at the
Okay.
bottom for my two. But you can see I pretty much use the same spread, and this is now his feedings. I'm still tracking his feedings. Um, Once I had 3 kids, so this year, I used one of my custom or pre-made bullet journals for myself. And there are definitely some things that I would change about it, but I was really excited because this was the first journal or bullet journal that I made. So I was like, I have to use it, which I do. Oh, and here's this little, I can send this to you if you'd like, Becky. Here's my like I digitized the key. So I printed that, put it in here. And this is my bullet journal that I made. And I sold this last year, and I also did a couple like bullet journal parties. And this was the bullet journal that we used there, which I can talk about in a second. So here's a vision board. Here's my goals. And then this is kind of the
Did
year I
you
grant.
glue those vision board pictures in?
I
Or
did. So for this vision board, I actually it's not like individual pictures. So I actually did it digitally on Canva first. So I
okay.
like formatted it, moved it around Canva, and then I just printed out one paper with all
Okay.
of them on. I think this is a sticker, so that went over it, but everything else is like one printed paper from Canva. So what I did was I just screenshot stuff from my phone, and then I would like send them to my computer, and then I just played with them and made it a vision board. And yeah, so it's not technically like each picture pasted in. I did it on my computer first and then printed it out. And then I did print that whole, it's one sheet, but I did print that in
You
my,
created a collage on Canva.
created the collage on Canva, and then I printed it and pasted just one basically page of the collage in
Okay.
my,
Makes
in my,
sense.
yeah, so that was really fun. And then, and then I feel like, not that it's like COVID, but I had all these ideas for this year, and then I got pregnant. And so we didn't do everything on my vision board. Okay, so
Said
yeah.
that a lot. And then I got pregnant. Almost every
Yeah,
year.
it's true. So you're seeing all my whole life through this. So I have usually a blank page next to each kind of cover page for the month. So yeah, this was like parks that we just moved to Tucson. Here's my monthly layout. And then something that I know I want to change for next year. Well, actually, I'm going to do it very different next year, but something I haven't loved is it's only one page for the weekly spread, and I have found it is just not enough space for me. So definitely next year I'm going to go back to my weekest 2 pages rather than just one page. But you'll see I just split it up and journaled about each of them down here. And so For this month though, so she just was born. I'll kind of, oh wait, you probably want to see this one a little bit. So this is how each month, and then I did include lined pages for reflection at the end of each month in this pre-made bullet journal. So similar to yours. There is no question every single month, but usually at the end of the month, I will kind of come up with, well, I guess I didn't hear either. Sometimes I'll just like come up with my own reflection question and then like talk about it. But for these ones, I didn't. Oh yeah, this is fun. My son started talking, so I started like keeping track of the words he was saying. I planted a garden. So, okay, what else was I trying to show you? You asked me about, so yeah, here's like a question I asked and then I journaled about it. You asked me about 3 kids though, so let's skip to October because this is technically the first month where I have 3 kids. I decided for her, there's a blank space under the calendar. I'm just going to journal about her monthly because actually before they're like 3 or 4 months old, they really don't do a ton, which is kind of mean. But yeah, I'm going to journal about her each month. So like a couple of times I've like written things on like, oh, she smiled at me. And then I still journal about them each week. So next year, I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet because my daughter is getting older and I don't know if I need to journal about her each week, but yeah. And then at the end of my bullet journal, I just put some like extra journaling pages. So I ended up putting the like pregnancy spread that I had done before for this pregnancy at the end, as well as I wrote out her birth story. So yeah, that's it. I have a couple extra like journaling pages if I ever want to journal anything.
Okay, so that one, the things that were set were your weekly, you had the month at a glance and then the week at a glance.
Um
One,
the things that were set up already.
yeah,
So yeah, I drew out, so this one is not dated either. So like it's drawn out, the like calendar is drawn out or like printed, I guess I would say it's printed, but I still had to go in and write the dates. And that's the same with the week as well. So it's
okay. So it's undated.
the lines are like drawn there, but I still like went in with my colors and then I went in and I had to date everything too. So this is an undated bullet journal
Okay.
still. So I wanted to show you real quick. I think we're like out of time. I just ramble.
It's
But
fun to see them though.
what?
It's fun to see them and
Yeah, I think it's nice to see them and to see like what a bullet journal is. It's just hard to envision it, I feel like, until and then you've seen it. My style and stuff has changed to what works for me, but yeah, it definitely, I would say, I can't remember if it was I think it was the end of last year. For most of the time that I bullet journaled, I actually had a personal journal and a bullet journal, but I found I was going to the personal journal less and less. And if I was going to my personal journal, I was kind of going, I don't know, to like vent or talk, get things off that like, oh, I needed to get off, which is fine. I think there's a good time and place to do that. But I kind of just switched. And now that I've incorporated like the reflecting and stuff each month, I don't have like a personal journal anymore. I just count this as like my journal.
yeah,
I
it's too
feel
hard.
like, yeah.
Many.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
So next year, I ordered a bookbinding kit and I am going to make my own journal like this. I've folded all my pages. Here, I'm going to put her down and I'll try and show you. I have folded all my pages and my mom was here and she isn't a very good seamstress. So I bought just like blank pages and I folded them and I'm gonna go in and like sew them and I'm gonna bind it. So this is what I'm gonna do next year. I'm gonna go back to not a printed one. I just decided that is not for me. I like to like draw and do too much. So I'm switching back. And
Okay.
yeah,
And I've
be
done
fun.
kind of the more structured one where the outline's there for me and I just like to fill in the gaps.
Yeah, I think that that's totally fine. To anyone who is watching or wants to bullet journal, I really have no like you can do whatever journal you want. I think any of them are great. So if you want it to be pre-made, that's awesome. In fact, most people, you know, when I show them that, they're like, that just looks like so much work. And it is, but I enjoy it. So it's not, to me, like I miss it. That's why I'm going back to it. But to a lot of people, like I know they're like, okay, yeah, I would take like a pre-made one and I could like, you know, just add colors or just like, and that's true. It is a lot of work to set it up, but I have, you know, kind of a layout that I like, and it's like pretty fast for me now. So
Yeah. Well,
it's
I wanted to ask, when do you do it? You're a busy mom of three. When is the time for journaling?
I just always made it a habit every Sunday to try and do it. Right now my schedule is like not super set. So I'm not like, I don't, especially with a newborn, I'm not like mad at myself if I don't do it every day or every Sunday. But I do find that, especially in this bullet journal, if I usually every other day at least will go in and just like, yeah, kind of journal, just kind of like write what I did in the day. If I didn't use it for like tasks and things, I'll just, any blank space, I go back in and fill it. And then something that you can do with a pre-made one that I've been really bad at this year because I'm so used to just going week by week is this month I like set it all up beforehand. So like I technically could be like filling in more stuff like throughout the month if I had it, if I wanted to. Because like I haven't done that with November yet, right? Like November is not set up yet. But like I could at the beginning of November set everything up, fill all my plans in before if I want to. I'm
Okay.
just so used to the old way where it was like I only had kind of 1 week in advance, so I would just like focus on that week. But
I'm a weekly person. I sit down Sunday and look at the week, and
yeah,
even if I'm not sure something's going to happen, I don't put it in yet. But I could use a key and just change
yeah.
it.
So you liked that? Are you talking about the key, like this
Mhm.
key?
That you had done. Like I can put it in my, write it down, and if it doesn't happen, it's okay.
Yes,
We're
love that.
okay with ourselves.
Love that. I think that's a really good thing. I've found sometimes I just need to write something down to get it out of my head. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't even have to get done. It doesn't even have to, nothing has to come from it. But as long as I've written it down, it just helps. It just helps to like take the load off of
I have
what's
to write things down, even if I know I won't get to them that week, or else I'll just forget. Like it has to be there, even though it's bothering me if it's like not checked off.
yeah. That's why I like the like you can move things over. It's like almost you checked it off. I'm just gonna move it to the next week. So yeah, at the end of each week, if there's anything left undone or unmarked off, I like to obviously I'm not perfect, but like that's the point is to sit and think, is this still worth it? Cross it off if it's not, so then you can take it off your load or move it to the next week if it is, so that you can
It
remember.
helps with the brain, like, so you're not trying to remember everything.
Mhm.
Totally.
Exactly.
I have another question.
Hey, tell me.
You have certain markers or pens that you,
Yes. So the pen I love, where is my pen that I love? It's right. Where is it? Well, okay, I'll look for that in a second. The markers that I love. I have this cute little thing next to me. It's a little, I don't know, spinny thing. I love, these are called Crayola Super Tips.
okay?
And they are really nice because you just don't want anything acid based because that could go through your pages. They will not bleed through. And there's like at Walmart, you can get like 50 for $5 or $8. Um, and lots of colors. So I like those markers. And then pen. Let's see, what is it time? I think it is time. Almost time. Do you want to sit here for a second or go check on dad? Let me keep my headphones on. Okay, the pen that I really like. I don't know where it is. I have to like, I have to use that pen for, oh, it's right here. Okay. Okay, can you hear me still?
Yeah.
So this is the pen that I really like. It is a Precise V5 extra fine black pen. You can also buy this at Walmart. I like the jet black look of this one. So
The Precise V5.
mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
I can send you a link to this one so you know exactly which one it is. So those are literally, yeah. If I had to have two things for my bullet journal, it would be this pen and those markers.
Okay.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. I have like other markers that I like to add a little more variety. These ones are pretty popular. I don't know if you've seen them before. They're like called zebra mild liners. Do
I
you
have
have those?
those.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So those, a lot of bullet journalists like those markers too.
Those are good for the highlighting part.
Mhm. Yeah, except for I would say that I like to put marker before my pen because sometimes if I've written something, especially if I'm writing it and then highlighting right away, it will smudge. If you've written it for a while, like it's been a while, then you can go over it. But usually I will put marker first before I put my pen.
But your super tip, the Crayola super tips, how are those like a highlighter tip, or are they fine?
They're like
It's
sort
thick.
of, it's, yeah, it's kind of like, it's not as thick, I would say, as like the normal marker. Like technically, if I've heard that you can use them for calligraphy, I am not very good at calligraphy, so I don't use them for calligraphy, but I just, yeah, you can make them thin or thick, kind of depending on where you like pressurize when you're writing.
So when you're gonna do like that highlighter color under your pen, which
Mhm.
marker do you use?
Like if I was highlighting like an event or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
I'll use either. It just depends
like
on what color I want.
like those. Like I put
No, you can use Crayola Super Tips for that too, I think. You can use to me, just what color do I want to use? Because I usually have like a theme for the month, like, okay, I'm doing blues this month. So then whatever, if it's a mild liner or if it's a Crayola Super Tip, I'll just use whatever color I want for that.
how many pages do you think is a good amount for a journal? Because I mean, you're helping me do my custom.
Mhm.
And what's a good amount of pages?
So I was trying to think about that. So yours was, I think it was gonna be about 300, which technically we cut that in half. So it's about
If you do 2
150.
journals, right?
Well,
Or what?
you want to do two journals?
Oh, so okay, maybe I was just thinking that was a half the year. So
No,
that's
sorry,
what
I
you
was
do?
saying that like it's 300 pages, but like I'm counting each half page as a page. So like sheets of paper, it will only be 150. And the one that these ones that I've been making and the one that I'm making are 160 pages. So it's gonna be a little bit thicker. Like it will probably be thicker than this one. Because remember this one, yeah, it'll be thicker than this one for sure. It'll probably be like double this size.
And will it be spiral bound like?
It will be spiral bound. I think I told you this already. I ordered a hardcover one. I have it over there if you want to see it, but it's like it doesn't lay flat. It's more like a book.
Okay.
It's like has the like arches when you. So I just wouldn't recommend it because it won't lay
Okay.
flat.
Okay.
Like these ones.
Okay. All right, I have some thoughts about my personal one, but we can talk later about that.
Okay, I would love to talk later about that with you. And then I was just gonna say that, yeah, I think I want to do another class like this. Let's just keep going with it because it's been fun. And so that class is going to be a little bit more, I think maybe what you wanted to see of like lettering, design. I feel like the functionality of a bullet journal is so important. I want to talk about that first, but then of course you want to like get into the fun side. So the next class is going to be called the Art of Bullet Journaling. I'll probably do it in like 2 weeks-ish. So look out for that. It'll be another free class. So if you want to come to that, come to that. And then, I do custom bullet journals. So if you want like a pre-made one, so you don't have to be setting it up every time, I'd love to help you with that. And then last thing I'll say is we'll talk about this next time, but if you're going to start bullet journaling, I think you should start it with a bullet journal party, which is just something that I made up, I guess, last year, where I had some friends who were super, or not friends, it was my siblings. They were like, I want to start bullet journaling. Two of them at the same time told me that. So I said, okay. And then I was like, let's just do this thing. I threw a bullet journal party, and their spouses came. I had about like 10 people there. And I just kind of did what I just did with you, like taught and showed, and it was really fun. And so I've done that with a couple other people as well, like as part of like my business, I guess. But yeah, bullet journal parties are really fun. So with your pre-made one, if you like can think of an event or people who would love to do that, that's a fun idea. But we'll talk about that more next time too, because that's kind of part of like the art side of it, I would say.
Okay, that's it.
So
Thank
that's
you.
all I had to share with you guys. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for coming live. I think I'm gonna put this on my channel so people can watch it that weren't able to come live.
Krista,
Yeah.
I'm so glad I came. You're inspiring me.
Oh,
I'm so
really?
bad at this stuff. You're so good at it.
Oh, thanks. That's my sister.
Yeah. Thanks, Krista. That was awesome.
Oh,
That's
good. I'm glad
I
you
knew
guys
all
learned some
those
stuff.
things from you teaching me a year ago, but I haven't done them. And now
She
I
was
want to
at one
do
of the children.
them.
Good. I know.
So
I
like
need to
even
make
if
good.
people already know this stuff, it's just good to watch because it like gets you excited.
Yeah,
Oh,
especially
good.
this time of year. You're like, oh, a new year's coming.
Yeah.
I know.
And
I
Yeah.
know.
And I feel like fall helps us slow down a little bit. And so you can kind of get, summer's I'd say probably the hardest, but fall and winter, like you can really get the habit in. So then by spring and summer, you're in the habit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
Thanks, Krista.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for coming. We'll see ya.
See ya.